The alien fleet shattered like glass under a sledgehammer as it collided with the human wall of death. They had ignored the humans' stern warning to turn back or be destroyed. Deep in Gallon space, in a dimly lit war room, Commander Axter slumped in his chair, his head in his clawed hands. Across from him, his old friend Rygar sat ramrod straight, unsure how to interpret Axter's haggard demeanor. The dim lights highlighted the lines of stress on Axter's face. "I tell you, Rygar, in all my cycles, I've never seen anything like it," Axter said, his voice quivering. "We thought the humans were weak and primitive. By the stars, we were wrong." Rygar leaned forward, his reptilian eyes widening. "The humans? But they've been isolated for centuries since the Dolan incident. What happened?" Axter drew a ragged breath. "It started when our scouts reported unusual activity near the human border. High Lord Zalrak sent the 7th Fleet to investigate, thinking our tech would crush any human resistance." "The 7th Fleet?" Rygar scoffed. "Over 1,000 of our most advanced ships. What could humans do against that?" Axter met his gaze, his expression dark. "That's what we thought." But a lone human vessel approached, broadcasting on all frequencies. A small, unimpressive craft piloted by one Jeffrey Carter. Carter's message was short. "You have entered human space. Turn back now. This is your only warning. We are waiting for you." Lord Zalrak laughed at this primitive creature and ordered the fleet to seize his ship. "Waiting for us?" Rygar puzzled. "What does that mean?" Axter shook his head grimly. "We found out soon enough, Rygar. We found out soon enough. If the truth of what transpired next got out, it could shatter the Gon Empire's grip on the galaxy. Countless subjugated races would revolt. I have to convince the High Lords to pull back before it's too late." Rygar sat back, his mind reeling from the implications of Axter's words. "By the stars, Axter, if what you say is true, then the humans possess technology far beyond anything we've ever dreamed of. A single ship able to disable an entire fleet, an entire empire. It's unthinkable." Axter nodded grimly. "Indeed. And that was just the beginning. As our ships hung their dead in space, the human fleet began to move. They encircled us, their weapons trained on our helpless vessels. And then Carter spoke again." Rygar leaned forward, his eyes wide. "What did he say?" "He offered us a choice," Axter said, his voice hollow. "Surrender unconditionally and face the consequences of our aggression or be destroyed utterly. There would be no negotiation, no compromise. We had brought this upon ourselves, and now we would pay the price." Rygar shook his head in disbelief. Surely Lord Zalrak didn't agree to such terms. Axter laughed bitterly. "What choice did he have, Rygar? Our entire military was at the mercy of the humans. One word from Carter, and we would have been wiped from existence. No, Lord Zalrak had no choice but to accept the humans' demands." Rygar sat back, his mind racing. And what were those demands? Axter met his gaze, his expression grim. "The humans dictated the terms of our surrender. We were to withdraw immediately from all occupied territories, dismantle our military, and submit to human oversight. They would be watching us closely," Carter said, "to ensure we never again posed a threat to galactic peace." Rygar's jaw dropped. "The humans, they're not just technologically superior, Axter. They're strategically brilliant. They played us like fools, luring us in and then striking when we least expected it. We never stood a chance." Axter nodded, his expression haunted. "You're right, Rygar. We underestimated the humans, and now we're paying the price. Our empire is in ruins, our military shattered, and the humans. They've emerged as the undisputed masters of the galaxy." Rygar leaned forward, his voice urgent. "But surely there must be something we can do, Axter. Some way to resist, to fight back against the humans' dominion." Axter shook his head sadly. "Fight back with what, Rygar? The humans have." Rendered utterly helpless, our only hope now is to comply with their demands and pray that their oversight is not too harsh. We brought this upon ourselves, and now we must live with the consequences." Zalran slumps back in his chair, his mind reeling from the implications of Kray's words. "So what you're saying is we're not just outmatched technologically, but also strategically. Cray nods grimly. The humans played us like a fiddle, Zalrin. They let us think we had the upper hand, allowed us to underestimate them, and then struck when we least expected it. Zalrin rubs his temples, trying to process the enormity of the situation. And now they have access to all our secrets, all our weaknesses. They could destroy us with the push of a button. Exactly, Cray says, his voice heavy with resignation. We're at their mercy now, Zalrin. The fate of the Draconian Empire rests in human hands. Zalrin looks up, a sudden thought occurring to him. But why the message? We are waiting for you. What does that mean? Rovan shakes his head. I wish I knew. But one thing is certain. The humans have a plan for us, and we're not going to like it. Zalrin shivers, the words echoing in his mind. We are waiting for you. It sounds like a promise, a threat, and a warning all rolled into one. Cray leans forward, his expression intense. Don't you see, Zalrin? The humans have been playing the long game. They've been watching us, studying us, biding their time, and now they're ready to make their move. Zalrin feels a cold dread settle in the pit of his stomach, and we walked right into their trap. We practically handed them the keys to our empire. Cray nods solemnly. We did, and now we must face the consequences of our arrogance, our underestimation of the humans. Zalrin looks at Cray, fear and uncertainty etched on his face. So what do we do now, Cray? How do we face an enemy that knows us better than we know ourselves? Cray meets Zalrin's gaze, his expression grim. I don't know, Zalrin. But one thing is clear. The balance of power in the galaxy has shifted, and we are no longer the ones calling the shots. The humans are, and we must learn to live in a universe where they, not us, are the dominant force. Zalrin shakes his head, still struggling to come to terms with the new reality. I never thought I'd see the day when the Draconian Empire would be brought to its knees by a species we once considered primitive. Cray laughs humorlessly. Neither did I, Zalrin. But here we are, at the mercy of the humans, our fate resting in their hands. Zalrin leans forward, his voice heavy with disbelief. So the humans not only infiltrated our space and disabled our fleets, but they also seeded our entire empire with weapons of mass destruction, all without us ever suspecting a thing. Rovan nods grimly, his claws clicking against the table. Indeed, the scope of their operation is staggering. They must have been planning this for cycles, biding their time, gathering intelligence, and positioning their pieces on the board. Zalrin shakes his head, his mind reeling. And we played right into their hands. Our arrogance blinded us to the true nature of the threat we faced. Rovan's voice drops to a whisper. The humans warned us, Zalrin. They gave us a chance to stand down, to avoid the consequences of our actions, but we didn't listen. Zalrin's eyes widen as a sudden realization dawns on him. The message, we are waiting for you. It wasn't just a warning, was it? It was a promise. A promise of what would happen if we crossed them. Cray nods solemnly. And now we must live with the consequences of our choices. The humans have proven themselves to be far more cunning and capable than we ever imagined. They have outmaneuvered us at every turn. Zalrin leans back in his chair, his expression haunted. So what happens now, Cray? What do the humans want from us? Cray spreads his claws in a gesture of uncertainty. That remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The balance of power has shifted. The Draconian Empire is no longer the dominant force in the galaxy. We are now at the mercy of the humans and their superior technology. Zalrin's voice trembles slightly. And if we step out of line, if we provoke their wrath once more? Rovan meets Zalrin's gaze, his eyes filled with grim certainty. Then they will not hesitate to use the weapons they have placed within our borders. The mines are a constant reminder of the power they wield over us, a sword hanging over our heads, ready to fall at a moment's notice. Zalrin shudders, the weight of the situation pressing down on him like a physical force. We have no choice then. We must comply with their demands, no matter how much it galls us to do so. Rovan nods, his expression resigned. It is a bitter pill to swallow, Zalrin, but it is the only way forward. The humans have left us no other. Zax's claws dug into the armrests of his chair, his frustration boiling over. To think that we, the mighty Golan Empire, could be brought so low by a species we once considered primitive and weak. Sand shook his head, a rueful smile playing across his lips. We underestimated them, Zax. We thought ourselves superior, and in our arrogance, we failed to see the true nature of the threat they posed. Now we must pay the price for our folly. Zax's hands trembled as he gripped the armrests of his chair, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe. By the stars, San, he whispered. The humans, they're not just technologically advanced. They're strategically brilliant. They played us like pawns on a chessboard, always 10 steps ahead. San nodded, his expression haunted. Indeed, we thought ourselves the masters of the galaxy, but in truth, we were mere children compared to the humans. They saw through our every move, predicted our every action, and in the end, they held all the cards. Zax shook his head, still struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the humans' victory. And the way they crippled our infrastructure with just a handful of carefully placed mines. It's terrifying. They knew exactly where to strike to cause maximum damage. Sand's claws dug into the table, his voice low and intense. That's the thing about the humans, Zax. They don't just rely on brute force. They use precision, cunning, and a deep understanding of their enemies' weaknesses. They studied us, learned everything about us, and then used that knowledge against us. Zax's voice trembled as he spoke. And now we're at their mercy. They could wipe us out at any moment if they so choose. Sand sighed heavily, his shoulders slumping. That's the price of our arrogance, Zax. We underestimated the humans, and we pay dearly for it. But even in defeat, they showed a level of restraint that is humbling. Zax frowned, confused. Restraint? They crippled our military and left us defenseless. Sand met Zax's gaze, his eyes intense. Yes, but they could have done far worse. They could have wiped us out entirely, but they chose not to. They gave us a warning, a chance to learn from our mistakes. And that, Zax, is perhaps the most terrifying thing of all. Zax leaned forward, his voice low. What do you mean? Sand's expression was grim. The humans are not just technologically and strategically superior, Zax. They are morally superior as well. They have a code of honor, a sense of justice that we can scarcely comprehend. And that is what truly sets them apart. Zax sat back, his mind reeling. A code of honor? But they are warriors, conquerors. Sand shook his head. No, Zax, they are defenders. They fight not for glory or power, but to protect the weak and innocent. And that is a strength that we Golans have never understood. Zax fell silent, his thoughts racing. The humans had not just defeated the Golan Empire, he realized. They had exposed the very flaws in their society, the weaknesses in their character. In doing so, they had forced the Golans to confront a harsh truth. They were not the masters of the galaxy, but merely one species among many, subject to the same laws and consequences as any other. Sand's voice cut through Zax's thoughts, soft and somber. The humans have given us a gift, Zax. A chance to learn, to grow, to become something better than we were before. And it is up to us to seize that chance, to build a new future for ourselves, and for the galaxy as a whole. Zax met Sand's gaze, his expression a mixture of fear and determination. But how, Sand? How do we move forward from this? Sand's eyes glinted with a fierce intensity. We start by acknowledging our mistakes, Zax. We start by learning from the humans, by understanding what makes them so strong. And then we work to rebuild our society, our culture, our very way of life. It will not be easy, but it is the only way forward. Zax nodded slowly, a sense of purpose growing within him. The humans had given the Golans a wake-up call, a chance to change their ways before it was too late. He knew that he must be a part of that change, that he must work to build a better future for his people and for the galaxy as a whole. The two Golans sat in silence for a long moment, each lost in their own thoughts. The weight of the future hung heavy upon them, but there was also a sense of hope, a glimmer of possibility amidst the darkness. The humans had shown them the way, had given them a chance to become something greater than they ever thought possible. And now it was up to the Golans to seize that chance, to rise from the ashes of their defeat and build a new world, a better world for all the beings of the galaxy.